What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Your boy is back. This is an episode of Nerd Talk, and this is my movie review of Marvel's Black Panther. Now, I actually went to go see the movie in IMAX this past weekend. Let me just say, I was blown away. Now, I am going to do something a little bit different. I am going to tell you what I overall thought about the movie first, and then I'm going to get into spoiler territory because the movie's been out for going on 4 days now, so I figure it's safe to talk about the spoilers. But if you have not seen the movie yet, then you have been warned. And I'm going to talk about where it ranks among all the other Marvel solo films. I'm not going to count the Avengers movies and stuff like that, but just, the solo films. But now this movie had a lot of hype behind it, and the movie has very, very big shoes to fill. First off is that this movie is the last movie before Avengers Infinity War. And Avengers Infinity War is pretty much the culmination of every last Marvel movie since the first Iron Man in 2008. So it has to hit on that cylinder. If Avengers Infinity War is the Super Bowl of Marvel movies, then that means that Black Panther has to be the AFC and NFC Championship of Marvel movies. And another big shoe that it had to fill is that we have had black superhero films before, but, they were all superhero parodies and comedies and not meant to be taken seriously. We've had Blank Man and Meteor Man and Steel and Hancock. Those are all, good for their time, I guess. But, like I said, those were kind of parodies and not meant to really be taken serious. And, yes, we had the Blade series, which was average, slightly above average. And we had Spawn 2, which was okay for its time, but it didn't really hold up to. It doesn't really hold up to modern times if you actually go back and watch it. So yeah, Black Panther. It is the latest black superhero film, and much to my surprise, you would think that it wouldn't get a lot of viewers because this is Marvel. But then again, Marvel's kind of mainstream. There is a pretty good balance of casual moviegoers and hardcore comic book fans there. So that to me was a big surprise. And that's something that I was actually really, really glad to see. But just to get an overall clear picture of what I think of the movie is the movie, to me, it hits on all cylinders. It does what it's supposed to do and more. It's got your action, it's got your comedy, it's got your drama, it's got your tearjerker moments, the special effects that you want, and a couple of surprise twists and turns that a lot of people won't really be expecting. So, yes, this movie does what it needs to do. Now, there are a couple of gripes and complaints, but, everything bad or everything you might want to criticize about the movie, not really bad. There's nothing. It doesn't really take away from the overall how good this movie is. Like, of course, you might get a little bit of a CGI blur. Like sometimes the CGI might seem like it's a little bit overwhelming or a little bit too much, but it doesn't take away what else the movie does. It doesn't take away from the story, how good the acting is, and the drama from all the scenes in the movie. Now, the movie starts at the very beginning. It starts at with King T'Chaka narrating to his son, T'Challa, Black Panther, about the history of Wakanda and the history of Vibranium. Vibranium is a big, big part in this story. You could damn near say Vibranium is a character of its own in this movie because of how important it is. And then it flashes forward to the early 1990s where King T'Chaka goes to Oakland, California to confront a fellow Wakandan. I'll get more into that later in the spoilers. And there is a conflict between them, and then it flashed back to 2016 Civil War where King T'Chaka gets assassinated. And that's where T'Challa is about to get ready for his coronation shortly after the events of Captain America's Civil War. But and that right there, that pretty much is the kickoff of the film. And we get introduced to so many interesting characters. Andy Serkis, he's back as Ulysses Claw. We actually get to meet Black Panther's younger sister, Shuri, who is a very, very phenomenal character in the movie. You get Okoye, who we first saw in Civil War, the tall, bald, black Amazon woman. And Angela Bassett, she killed it as her role as T'Challa's mother, the Queen of Wakanda. She really did nail it. She's probably in the movie for all of 40 minutes, and this movie is 2 hours and 16 minutes long, but, she nailed it. She really did nail it. And, of course, you got the Stan Lee cameo, who was in the casino scene. But this movie had a couple of elements. This movie had some sci-fi elements, of course, the superhero elements, too. And this movie had kind of an espionage feel to it for probably about during the first 20 or 30 minutes of the movie. It kind of reminds you of a James Bond, Mission Impossible kind of thing. Especially when you get to the car chase and the special effects, and especially when you can see Shuri messing around with all the gadgets in her underground Wakandan base. That's pretty awesome too. And then that's when you get to introduce after that is the centerpiece of the movie, who is Eric Killmonger, who is played by Michael B. Jordan. Let me stand up and clap. Standing ovation. Yeah, I got my PJs on. But yes, standing ovation for Eric Killmonger. Now, he is supposed to be the villain in the movie, but his motivation is what makes him stand out further than any Marvel villain. Here's my top 3 Marvel villains as of now. Loki, Killmonger, and Adrian Toomes, also known as the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. Those are my top 3 Marvel villains right now. At least until we see Thanos and Infinity War. Then I'll get my rankings of the Marvel villains. I'll update it on that. But yeah, Killmonger, I mean, he is a very big centerpiece. Now, like I said, he is one of those villains where it's like, okay, you're a villain, but when we see why you're doing what you're doing, it's hard to hate you. Yes, he is a bad guy, and yes, his motive is right, but his execution and in the way he carries it out is wrong. I mean, you don't have to kill innocent people to get your point across. I mean, there is a nonviolent approach, as T'Challa would say. And once again, you can see the interesting you can see like the right wing, left wing dynamic between T'Challa and Killmonger. A lot of people were comparing Killmonger to Malcolm X, and a lot of people were comparing T'Challa to Martin Luther King, which I can see. And this movie, I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed it, because I said this as soon as I walked out of the theater. I said this movie has a lot of uncanny resemblances to Disney's The Lion King. Think about it. It starts with a king being murdered, and his son is going to take over the throne. And in ritual combat, the son has to overthrow this evil king or this evil person to take charge of the throne. And you have the romance element too. And then there's a big climactic battle at the end, to where everybody tries to defend the Pride Lands, or also known as the Greater Wakanda area. And basically, in the scene of Wakanda, or the whole country, is beautiful. There's some CGI parts in it where you can tell, but overall, just like the African culture, the clothes, the people, and just the overall environment, it made it seem like that Wakanda was a real place. And like the team of the movie, they did a good job bringing that place to life. They did a very, very good job. Now, as far as the overall climax of the movie, I mean, there's once again those tearjerker elements. While in Killmonger, I was hoping to see more of him in future Marvel installments, but yeah, he unfortunately does not make it. Once again, spoiler. And there's a reason why he doesn't make it. Well, of course you know why. It's because he gets into a gigantic, ginormous fight with Black Panther in the end, and he decides that death is better than bondage. He said he would rather die a free man than to live a slave. And a lot of people, when he delivered that line, a lot of people, myself included, were choking back tears. And the supporting characters like M'Baku, Man-Ape, he's one of the people that T'Challa had to fight for the throne in the beginning because he was challenged for it. But M'Baku, he was hilarious. I mean, hopefully we see more of him. Hopefully he comes back in Infinity War to defend the country of Wakanda. But yeah, just my overall rating for the movie before I really get into my spoilers. The action, perfect 10. The special effects, if you could ignore overly, the overuse CGI, I'll give that a 9. The acting, also I'll give it a perfect 10. The story, I mean, I have to give the story a 9 because aside from the post-credit scene and aside from the flashback to Civil War, it doesn't really, there's not really too much that it connects to the main Marvel universe. Is not really that much references. But then again, this is a solo flick / origin story, so you can't really accept that much. So I'll go ahead and just give that one a solid 9. And the acting, I would have to give that a perfect 10. But overall, I'm going to give Black Panther a 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, there's a couple of minor gripes and complaints, but it's nothing that takes away from how great this movie is overall. Now for the spoilers. We find out Killmonger's his motivation for doing what he did is because we found out that King T'Chaka ended up killing his father, and we find out that his father is his brother. So yes, that makes Killmonger and T'Challa cousins. Hi, Auntie. And there's two post-credit scenes. The first one is where T'Challa addresses the world. He pretty much addresses the World Council about the state of Wakanda and about how they are open to trade, because one of Killmonger's points in this movie was, well, if this country is so great, then why are we not sharing this technology with the world? Why are we letting the world think we're a third world country? And because Okoye in the beginning said, because the world isn't ready for us yet. The world isn't ready for this kind of technology yet. And the world's not ready for us yet. And that was a double meaning. And also, if you pay close attention, if you're not careful, you just might learn a few things in this movie. You might learn things about ethnic background. You're going to learn about a couple of political things. You're going to learn about social issues. You're going to learn about racial and black issues in America. Because T'Challa and while they might have T'Challa and Killmonger are two sides of the same coin. They have different. They have the same goal, but they got different motives. I.e., Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. But yeah, T'Challa. I mean, like Killmonger, he was just a little bit too extreme in his methods. But you have to understand why, because T'Challa, he grew up in Wakanda. He grew up seeing, beautiful people. He grew up in, beautiful land. He grew up rich. While Killmonger, he grew up in a ghetto in the early 90s in Oakland, California, where if you know anything about Oakland in the late 80s and early 90s, nothing but crack, drugs, gangs, and violence in the 90s. So you kind of can't really blame him. I mean, like the character, he's not evil. He's just troubled and misguided. Kind of sounds familiar, like, what you see in the media when you see white people shooting up schools. But that's another topic for another day. But overall, I give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. You guys let me know what you think about this movie if you saw it. But anyway, thank you guys for watching my movie review. I'll be back with another video soon. This has been TheDreadMan. Peace out.